time to move to the trailer roundup because that's where the juice is for this episode. And we need to talk about the first trailer, official trailer for Daredevil Born Again, a series that is premiering, I guess we could use that word, March 4th on Disney Plus. It is a bit of a revival. It has many carryover actors playing the roles that they had in the Netflix Daredevil series, whether it be Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil, whether it be Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk. You got Foggy Nelson here. You got Deborah Ann Wool as Karen Page. And then you have a slew of new characters here. But Ricky, this is a Disney Plus show. This is no longer Daredevil Netflix style. This is not Charlie Cox showing up in Echo. This is not Charlie Cox showing up in She-Hulk or Spider-Man No Way Home. He's been teased, and now he gets the return of his own project. Do you think, Ricky Flicks, that after watching this trailer, this series can live up to what the Netflix series did?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be difficult. And I think so because I think the Netflix series is so beloved, right? And it's something where, like, in society, we just, like, look at something, it's like, we can't top that, you know? It has to be, like, clear and obvious where it's like, wow, this is better. And we're kind of in that era, especially with social media, the banter, word of mouth, where it's just hard to top it. And I think this does look really good. And I want to give it a chance. And it's the same characters. The core characters are all the same actors, that is. But there's something about, like, the MCU where I just can't trust them. And especially with all these reshoots and overhaul, how there were 18 episodes, they scrapped it. They filmed 6 and they basically scrapped that, restarted. Now it's a 9-episode season here. There's something off going on at the MCU. And with this project, I need to see it to believe it, I guess is what I'm saying.
I'm going to give it a chance. And I think I'm going to say that because initially they had shot pretty much the season, or at least part of the season, half the season, and then they scrapped it because there wasn't enough action. It wasn't enough DNA of the Netflix series. And what do? They get the writers from the original Netflix series to come on and work on the project. So that gives me hope that, yeah, maybe it's going to be more of Netflix Daredevil rather than MCU-ified. So that's kind of giving me hope. What kind of draws me back is that when I'm watching this trailer and I'm comparing it, I see the stuff on social media side by side with the Netflix series in this trailer. It has the MCU like tint or shade on the show.
Yes.
And that all aesthetic of MCU projects that makes people cringe or they make people kind of roll their eyes. I think the show has parts of that. And then other scenes look like the Netflix Daredevil, And I do want to say, I'll also give it hope because they're making it perfectly clear that this is going to be violent as hell. I think it was almost obnoxious in this trailer how violent it was. The bones cracking, the sounds of punches crunching orbital bones, They made sure that you had joints that are being twisted in the wrong directions, bent in the wrong directions. So I think they're almost rubbing it in your face. No need to worry. We're going to be violent as hell. We're going to be R-rated for as much as we can be for a Disney Plus show. So I'm giving it a chance, but I don't think it can recapture the same exact magic. Because it's like, let's say season 1.
Yeah, and like what you're saying there, I definitely see that tint or the Marvel-fied of the series. It is on full display here, just by the look of it. But I also agree with you where it got to the point where the action scenes, they were overdoing it to an extent with like the broken bones and stuff, where it's like them telling you, we promise you guys, like, this is the same show. Like, just come watch us. That's what it felt to me. A little bit of a desperate plea saying, like, trust us. Like, I know our shows haven't been hitting lately, not just critically, but also viewership wise. Like, come watch us, right? Just do it. And we have the same characters. We have the same sort of action sequences. That's like, to me, that's what I felt. And did I buy in? Yes, I did buy in. But do I also recognize what they're doing? Yes, completely.
So this is something where, like, the TV show, it was a TV show and it felt so much like Marvel Netflix, it was loosely connected to the events happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They were just concerned about making the show building up to another season. And that's what like Disney Plus is terrible at with Marvel. It's, oh, can we look forward to a season 2? Now we're getting a long running season that I would assume after what they probably keep the same title, maybe. I don't know for season 2. Maybe they change it from Daredevil Born Again to something else. But I think
I would assume yes.
And with like a passionate fan base that already expects like this is a character that has season to season potential, this kind of seems like a layup a little bit for Marvel. Like it's hard to screw this up because you went back to the writers, you went back to a big name character that flourished on the big screen. To me, it's gonna be I would say the most I would say it's probably has the best chance of success out of all the Marvel shows that have come out. You know, this is a big name character. It's done well on TV. I think this one, it should do the best. You know what I mean?
I agree. And I think it's also because of the character, Daredevil, Hell's Kitchen, smaller focus. You're not dealing with crazy CGI. Just focus on the small story in this small space.
Good point.
I think that helps as well. You're not trying to build this multiverse or connect it to this or that. You're just doing this and you have the same writers and the same actors. On paper, I agree with you. But the problem is Marvel's going to Marvel. I just can't trust them anymore. I can't. But I'm doing ping pong. I'm Marty Supreme over here going back and forth. Another thing, though, I'll say to help you here is that look at the TV shows MCU's got this year. It's got this one. It's got Ironheart, and it's got Wonder Man. If I had to pick one out of the 3 to be successful by a light year, it's Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, you're right, but I still, not even in the back of my mind, in the forefront of my mind, I'm thinking this is the MCU and TV shows. And they already had to do so many rewrites, reshoots. Is Foggy in this? Is Karen in this? Are they not? We now know they are, confirmed. But it's just like, crap, they're going to find a way to mess this up.
Yeah. But even like they're where you would usually maybe see hints at a larger universe. Instead, this show seems like they're teasing the return of Marvel Netflix characters rather than saying like Spider-Man may show up or whoever the hell from the MCU, like not someone that large scale, but like having Bullseye return here, having Frank Castle with Bernthal here.
Yes.
You know, just like having those type of characters come back, you're like, yes, they are devoted to keeping this story alive from the Marvel Netflix series. And also when you talk about like the MCUification, did you see that report? It wasn't even a report. It was like a rumor, and it was on Discussing Film and a bunch of other news outlets. And they were saying Charlie Cox like was overheard at a gym saying he was going to be in Avengers Doomsday. Do you remember that came out?
That was real.
Well, it was on it's on real news outlets. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
So it's
that is also just I don't see that being factual. You know, I just kept on replaying that moment in my head. It's probably a fan going up to him. Like Charlie Cox got like 3 plates on there, both sides, you know, and the guy says, "Do you need a spot?" You know, and he's just like, "Nah, I got to be able to rep this out so I can fight Dr. Doom." You know, that's what I got. And then the guy's like grabs his phone, turns away. Quick email to TMZ, quick DM. I have a scoop that Charlie Cox will be at Avengers Doomsday. Boom. That's how it happens. It's stuff like that. But he's just probably making a joke.
Yeah. Charlie Cox, like if you look at his interviews, he's a pretty like low-key guy, like chill guy. He's just a chill guy. I actually do like his personality. And obviously I like his passion for Daredevil. And here, again, a little bit to the trailer, we do see a little bit of passion from Daredevil, a lot of screaming. That reminds me a lot of the Netflix shows, thinking of things that remind me of the Netflix shows, the action, the screaming Daredevil, Wilson Fisk, who's now mayor, the interaction at the diner with Matthew Murdock is very interesting.
Iconic.
So it seems like they're focusing on the stuff that we actually care about, which gives me optimism for this season. It's just like the MCUing of it all is like what gives me pause. And then one other thing, but I'll save that for later.
Yeah, when like Wilson Fisk is at a diner across from Matt Murdock and they know and have an understanding of who each other are, you know, it's like almost a mutual respect. That's like badass, like type of like relationship you like to see in like a comic book show. I love that.
Totally.
And
Totally.
I'm going into like there's like a line that's crossed. I think it's gonna have a good like reason for why Daredevil has been in hibernation for like this amount of time, born again. Like they have to go into it. But I do think also seeing Frank Castle here, seeing Bernthal, first of all, Bernthal, one of our boys, right? Definitely one of our favorite actors. That goes for both of us. And he just has the look based on the hair, the beard, long hair Punisher. I like it, but he has the look of someone that missed the last 5 years. He has the look of someone that doesn't know how to adapt to the blip. Imagine Frank Castle coming back from the blip. The guy who's already lost his family and then losing his life and then coming back. I think we are due, and I think we can anticipate a blip type of story plot point in the show.
I totally agree. Everything you said. And two things. One, John Bernthal, the way he looks, I'm like, shit, he should be in The Last of Us. I think he would thrive in that show. Imagine him as like the big bad of a season against Pedro Pascal. I don't know the video game, so I don't know, but
I mean, Walking Dead. He was Shane, iconic.
Right. I didn't watch The Walking Dead.
Oh my gosh,
I've only seen the last
show.
one.
Was insane.
I think I've said this on the podcast. I literally remember the first episode of Walking Dead I watched, or when I got into it, was the first episode with Negan, and then I watched Walking Dead until the end, basically, of Rick.
It's like that's like Bernthal on fire on all cylinders. Like he's going 100 miles an hour in that show. Watch the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead if you like Bernthal.
So yeah, he won't be in The Last of Us, but he did remind me of like, oh wow, he'd be great in The Last of Us. Looking at him in this, but crap. Now I got lost. What I was gonna say? What were you saying before?
I was saying Bernthal looks like he came back from the blip.
Oh right. Here's actually I have two other hiccups besides the MCUing of it all, and this is one of the other ones. Are we we're in 2025? We are well past the blip.
Yeah,
I'm done with the blip. I'm like so done with the blip and in the MCU. I just want to. We're past it. I don't want them to even talk about it. You know, like we all know what happened. You don't need to go through like what happened and make it a story, like a plot point to utilize for your show. Think of something more creative. I'm kind of past it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something where I feel like it's a part of the show. They don't want to say it in the trailer because I think it's going to turn audiences off when you say it's a part of the blip. So they're just waiting for you to start watching the show, and then you find out it's about the blip. And then hopefully the parts surrounding, right, the story surrounding is quality enough to keep you watching. But I am excited to have Bernthal here in the MCU, and someone that maybe you have another project with Bernthal alone. Maybe they have a story to tell with him, maybe on the big screen. Like, I don't know, Punisher's failed a couple times on the big screen, but like Bernthal, I would love to see him get his own movie. I would love to see it. I think he's a guy who understands. He's like one of the best supporting actors in the game. He's great at going in and out and stealing the show. But I'm happy to have him back. But there's a couple other people that showed up here. Michael Gandolfini showed up, right? James Gandolfini's son, seen in The Many Saints of Newark, played a younger version of Tony Soprano in The Many Saints of Newark. I think he's playing potentially the son of Wilson Fisk, the lost son of Wilson Fisk. And that is a character known as the Rose. And I didn't even know he's in the show, Ricky Flex. Did you know he was in the show?
I thought we talked about that.
We probably did, but we talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, and also this show was like the rumors were like years ago, like 2021. So yeah, it was probably a while ago. Yeah, but when I saw him, I was like, oh crap, I forgot. And I was like, that's good casting if he's Wilson Fisk's son. That's good casting.
But it's almost like too on the nose. That was just like, oh, he's his son. Like there's
Mob Boss's son, Tony Soprano's son. Like yeah, makes sense. And real quick, go back to Bernthal for a quick second. So I'm a Punisher stand guy. I really like season 1. I really dug it. Season 2 of the Punisher, not so much, but I think John Bernthal is a great Punisher. And I don't know if we'll get a movie or a spin-off show. We'll see. I like Marvel, who knows what they do. But do we get a solo episode of the Punisher in this?
Oh man, they're gonna do a Mandalorian inside of Book of Boba Fett here.
Yeah, 9 episode season this is. I smell a Punisher episode.
I smell it too. That's a great idea. Oh my god! If they have, if we are getting as long of a season, right? They're trying to say it's going to be not 6-episode miniseries. You know, it's going to be like almost feel like television, like true television. Give him an episode. Come on, you know people want to see Bernthal. Give us one episode with him. I'll take that. I'll take that. And you guess what? It's probably gonna be my favorite episode of the season. I love that idea.
It'll be our fishes. Or like Last of Us with Nick Offerman, you know?
Yes, and like something where it's like every once in a while, like we turn on Fishes for Christmas. We put that on. Like you don't have to watch the entire season. Every once in a while, like I feel like watching The Punisher. Boom, put that episode on. Such a good idea, Ricky. Wow. Also characters appearing. White Tiger, I think, is a Puerto Rican hero that we're going to be seeing here. I think the actor tragically died who's playing White Tiger. Isn't that true?
I think you're right.
Okay. I believe he is passed away, but that's another well-known hero, right, in the Marvel universe that has not appeared thus far. Okay, so we're keeping it fresh here. Jessica Jones has been rumored to be showing up with Kristen Ritter from the Marvel Netflix series. So I feel like they are not even like paying homage or tribute. They're looking to kind of take in what worked from the Marvel Netflix series and then bring those characters here. I feel like Luke Cage is not out of the realm of possibility. But you know what? I want Marvel to kind of, you know how they did it with Doctor Strange and you had Werewolf by Night and then you have like that like sector, that sorcerer / like almost horror sector of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we're now focusing on building out another sector of the MCU with these grounded characters. Maybe Spider-Man that's been teased as a multiversal story, but also seems like after No Way Home, we have like a more grounded Spider-Man, right? A friendly neighborhood one. I feel like now we're like with Daredevil Born Again, you have an opportunity to build out, right, this more gritty and less power-based, sector.
Yeah. I agree. The problem is I don't really like these characters.
Yeah, like you got to take some of these, but also like bring in Spider-Man. I don't even know who else you would put in that group. Who else could you add?
God, I would have to think.
Because like Moon Knight, I think I put him in that like
He's in the
that
horror fantasy.
sorcerer like horror like sector. I don't even know who's gritty. Maybe you incorporate an X-Men character, right? Maybe like in this grounded type before they join the X-Men. Something like that. But I think that's just an opportunity here, and I think you can really branch from it. That's why I think Daredevil Born Again is not only returning to what people like, but it's like you could build out this part of the MCU that like maybe can appeal to an audience that is kind of over the visuals, the CGI, the special effects. That's what like this one offers. I think that was a good point you made. Like this one doesn't have the CGI fest most likely as most other Marvel shows, and it feels actually like a small screen show. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be good. Any other final thoughts before we wrap it up here on Daredevil Born Again?
Yeah, two final ones. One, real quick, Matthew Murdock, a ladies' man. Holy crap! In this, he's like in the shower with one girl, making out with another. Like he is full on, like just a ladies' man in this trailer. Like we knew that going, like, but like they really advertised that. So that's that. And then two, my last like quibble. I'm afraid 9 episodes. There's a lot of Matthew Murdock without the Daredevil costume, and a lot of him fighting without the Daredevil costume, and a lot of like why have you been away so long? I am afraid that like the first 4 or 5 episodes he will not be in costume.
So you're thinking it's going to be like literally a throwback to season 1 of Daredevil, where he's just wearing a black mask.
Not even a mask. Like he's not Daredevil.
Well, he's wearing that red one. He's like Red Hood, but like a cheap version of Red Hood. Do you see that? You remember that was him?
Yeah. So So then, yes. Sorry. Then yeah, I agree. It's just not as long as like the black mask and suit in season 1, because like that was like almost the whole season when he had that. Right. That would be like very small. I just have a bad feeling where what they're gonna do is gonna have this conversation early. Wilson Fisk, maybe even the first 3 episodes when they drop it on March 1st, and like have that in there and saying like when's the big bad Daredevil coming out. Whatever, and they're like gonna be like, I don't know, and then they're gonna keep like progressing towards it. Crime's gonna pick up or something, or whatever crime there is. Bullseye gets loose, the White Tiger's going crazy, and then he sees all these helmets, and he's like, God damn it, I got to get back at it. And then mid-season finale, he's back as Daredevil. I don't know. I just have that feeling right now.
I think what goes to your point that this trailer kind of had a desperate feel to it, or it's trying to like shut up the haters, is when you had the scrapped initial premise of like the first few episodes, like the first half of the season, he's not going to be wearing a Daredevil suit. And now this trailer made it a point of emphasis to show you the arsenal that he has in his, layer, of Daredevil suits, his different like helmets. They made that they showed that on purpose to saying this is not the show you think it's going to be. It's trying to combat what they've heard. That also was ringing, I think, pretty loud and clear.